Hi, welcome to the Vergas Show. I'm Sherry Hansen. Thanks for joining me today. You're finding me here where you normally would find me in the Vergas State Bank in my office. I work for the Vergas State Bank, but I also work for the Vergas Insurance Agency. I'm an agent with the Vergas Insurance Agency, which is owned by Greg and Lee Dahlgren. And so if you're going to come into the bank sometime, you'll be able to see me in one of those first offices. And if you got banking business, that's great. But if you got insurance business, I'd be able to help you with that too. We like to, well, we've been an insurance agency for over 50 years. Gordon Dahlgren, who a lot of you remember, probably wrote a lot of your policies, started the agency here in the bank, and then his son Greg Dahlgren and his son Lee Dahlgren came on board, and then I was personally trained by Gordon myself, and then went on to get my insurance agent license, and so it's kind of just worked into all of that, and here we are. And insurance. How many of you like insurance, right? For some of you, it's a dreaded word. It's kind of like ranks right up there with income tax. It ranks right up there with something that you don't want to have to deal with or do, and then that's why you have an agent, and that's why I can't stress enough. I know that there's a lot of people that go online and get their insurance, and they're good policies. They do provide insurance coverage, but you're missing that important, vital link of having an agent. When I think of an insurance agent, when I think of myself anyway, what I like to think that I would do for you is I'd be able to offer you choices. We're an independent agency, and so we write with a lot of different companies. Some of the companies that we write with is Auto Owners. We write with North Star Mutual. We write with Progressive. We write with Lake Park and Cuba. We have a lot of sub-companies like Ram Mutual and Berkeley that we write some of our commercial with. And so we have a lot of choices for you. We write with Continental Western for those fun collector cars that you can insure at a very reasonable rate and be able to take to the shows. And so we just have a lot of different options there. We do supplemental health insurance coverages through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and there's other companies that are in there with that too, and of course we write with the disability, and so we have life insurance, just a lot of options for you. So if you were to go online and start looking for somebody to give you a whole insurance package, it might be a little bit more difficult to do. So as an agent, I like to think of the fact that I am able to look at you and all of your needs and hopefully help you with that. Your agent is your personal resource. Insurance is written because of claims happening. You want your insurance, and you want your insurance agent there for you in the time of a loss. And that's when insurance kicks in. That's when we're there. That's when we want to be there. And I'd like to think that I'm pretty accessible here in the agency we are. And we're small enough so that you know where to get a hold of me in a dire emergency. You know how to get a hold of any one of our agents, and so we're there for you in the time of a claim. That's when you want us, and we would be there. The other thing is we know you, we know your family, or we like to get to know you and your family. And so I know there's been times where it's happened when I've driven by somebody's home and it's like, there's a new garage there. I wonder if they called anybody in the agency, or say you've had a new baby and you want to make sure that you've got the proper life insurance coverages, or we know you, and we want to be able to make sure that if you've started a daycare in your home, you do have coverage for that, because the worst time to find out that you're not properly insured is at the time of a loss. And losses do happen. That's why you buy insurance. Being insured and preparing for potential losses is the reason that you buy insurance. And we all know that things happen. We all know fires happen, tornadoes happen. We know that floods happen. We know that car accidents happen. There's a lot of deer around here. There are a lot of car accident hits. And so we know that those things happen. And so putting your life in order and putting in order to know that, okay, is a potential for something like this happening, is why you come in and see an insurance agent. So hopefully that you'll find time to come in to the Vergas Insurance Agency. We appreciate our loyal customers that we do have, and we look forward to meeting new customers, and we look forward to taking a look at what your insurance needs might be. Talking about auto insurance. That's the first thing I want to talk about. Auto insurance is broken into two different things, and when somebody comes in, this is how I explain it. You've got your liability portion of your auto insurance, and you've got your physical damage portion of your auto insurance. When you talk about the liability, what that's doing is that's insuring you as the driver. And so if you have a 16-year-old versus a 60-year-old, the liability portion of it's going to be a little bit different, because what they're doing is they're insuring you as the driver in a potential loss. And so there's all sorts of different factors that play into that. But what we do is we've gotten to the point in insurance agencies, computer world has created this, that we put in those numbers, we put in your age and your date of birth, and that determines your liability portion of your policy and what your premium is going to be there. And of course there's different tiers in that. The state of Minnesota does have a low tier of $30,000, $60,000. It's broken into two different limits, $30,000 per accident, $60,000 max. And that's the very minimum that you can get. That is not what I would advise you if you would come in and get insurance, because of our insurance world and our lawsuit world. You just would not ever want to be underinsured on the liability portion. That's the part of it that you never ever want to cut corners on, is the liability portion. So you need to look at where you are at in your life, where you are at as far as your job and family and things like that, and what you potentially could lose in the case of a lawsuit. And so that's where it comes into with auto insurance, is with liability portion is the one part of it. Depending on the type of vehicle you get, usually doesn't change that liability portion a whole lot, because what it's doing is insuring you as the driver. Some of our companies do, it is adjusted, but it's usually not the huge jumps. Where you get into the huge jumps is where you get into the physical damage coverage for your automobile insurance. And when we're talking physical damage coverage, then that too gets broken into two different groups. There's the comprehensive, which is anything that is not a collision. So that includes like your deer hits, that includes like your fire, hail damage, theft, vandalism, anything that is not something that could be avoidable, where collision is avoidable. And so that covers that portion of it. And then of course you get your deductibles into it. And then of course you've got your collision, and that's just what it is, collision. Collision with another car, collision with a fixed object, and so those are your physical damage portions of it. And when you start getting vehicles that are costing $30,000 versus vehicles that maybe cost $10,000, you're going to notice a big difference in what the premium is going to be in that. And I can't stress to you enough, when you're out shopping for a vehicle, be sure to give the agency a call and say, how much is this going to cost? Because if you need a loan on the vehicle, it's going to be higher. If you're a youthful driver, that portion of it's going to be higher too. They look at all of those different factors. And I quickly want to just tell you some of those huge factors are credit rating. All insurance right now is done by credit rating. It's not a, we don't get to see your credit score, but it's a credit rating. And so be looking at that. Youthful drivers, number of accidents, number of claims, number of violations. Good student discounts are out there. There's so much to talk about that, and as I'm running out of time here, I'm finding that I think we're going to need a second portion on this, because I haven't even gotten into the homeowners portion of it. So I think if anything today, what I'd like to stress is I'd like to say thank you to our loyal customers, but I'd also like to say stop in and talk to your insurance agents. Stop in and prepare for those unavoidable accidents and things that do happen in life, because that's what insurance is about. And you never want to be underinsured when it comes time for when you have a loss and you're at that point and you're wondering, like, what am I going to do now? And so thanks for, if you have questions on insurance, what we'd like to do is kind of start up a little show through both the insurance agency and through the bank. Call us here. If you have a banking, real estate question, call us, and Darren's going to address that. If you have an insurance question that you want addressed on this show, give us a call here at 342-2481. We're open the same hours of the banking hours, 8 a.m. until 3 p.m., but you can catch us later. And if you have that question, then we'll address it on the show. So hopefully you'll make it time to get to Vergas and enjoy the beautiful fall colors. And when you are in town, stop in and see us here at the bank and at the Vergas Insurance Agency. So you have a good day in Vergas.